Welcome to the Epic Podcast, your elopement photographer inspiration compass. I'm your host, Cheryl Ann, elopement photographer, former Navy officer, and proud mama. This is where adventure and destination elopement photographers come to get inspired, connect, and keep learning. If you're ready to reach new heights and find your true north, you're in the right place. Stay epic. Hey friends, welcome back to another episode of the Epic Podcast. I'm your host, Cheryl Ann. Today we have a very exciting episode because I am joined by the Megan MacPhail. She is an elopement photographer, an educator, a business coach, and know this, she was also my very first business coach that I've ever had. Before photography, Megan actually worked as an emergency veterinarian before making the leap into entrepreneurship and building a successful elopement photography business. And today she helps many other elopement photographers do the same. So for this episode, I really want to dig into what actually separates successful elopement photographers from everyone else, because that is such a big question that she will be able to answer. So today we are talking about strategy, money, mindset, consistency, when to pivot when things aren't working, and the patterns Megan herself has seen after coaching many elopement photographers at every stage of their business. So welcome, Megan, to the Epic Podcast. I'm excited to have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
Here. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know you yet, tell us a little bit about your journey from being a veterinarian to an elopement photographer to a business coach.
I was an emergency veterinarian and I had a job in Colorado. So I was living in Denver and I had loved wedding photography for a while and I had been kind of dabbling in it, kind of not very seriously, but every once in a while getting random bookings. And I started booking weddings in Colorado, and that was so cool because you're traveling to the mountains and all that kind of stuff, and it just lit me up. And then I'd have to go back to work as this emergency vet that I worked my whole life for and took like six figures worth of student loans out for, and it was miserable. It was hard. I was a really good vet and I loved the animals, but the hospitals really worked you to the bone, and I had to quit that. So I was kind of living this double life where I'm like in the mountains photographing weddings and elopements, not necessarily even on the weekends because I oftentimes worked on the weekends as an ER vet, but and then I'd go back to being an ER vet and it just was soul sucking. So I just knew I had to quit it. And I mean, I had to be an elopement photographer. I just had to. And I've accomplished hard things in the past. I got through vet school. Of course, I could make a successful business. And I did get to the point where I was booking enough that I could quit my job or quit my career. And I did that in 2018. And it was the best thing I ever did. Everyone thought I was crazy, but it was amazing. And that's a big reason why I want to help others, because I was kind of stuck in this career that was killing me essentially. And then I got to see this other way of living where there's so much joy and happiness, and I love it so much, and I got to build my life the way I wanted it. So that's kind of my story.
That. And, when I was first starting to look for a business coach, I was so drawn to your story and felt like I could relate to you because when I found you, I was still in the Navy. And I think what inspired me about your story was the fact like you were a doctor for animals. Like you
Yeah.
have worked so hard to build this incredible career that was prestigious. Everyone
Mhm.
looks up at it, and you decided that you wanted to go into photography. And I just thought if she could make such a big leap like that and just trust herself, like I can do the same with my career that I put 8.5 years into and go into photography, which is something that like I also felt a calling for and that I loved so, so much. So thank you for sharing your story because it was very inspirational.
Yeah, I hope I can inspire people because, yeah, it was weird kind of giving up that doctor title and being like, "Oh, I'm a veterinarian," because at parties or weddings, like my friends' weddings, that's like, "Oh man, you're so accomplished and stuff." And then now it's like, "Oh, I'm a photographer," and it's like, "Oh, that's cute," you know? So
It's
it's
so
different.
crazy. Yeah, the reactions from people are quite interesting when you share it with other people that you are just meeting, because I remember being like telling people like, "Oh, I'm a naval officer," and like they'd be like, "Oh, that's so cool." But now when I say photographer, they give me a weird look
Yeah.
until, I show them my photos, I tell them how I travel the world, and then all of a sudden like I'm seen differently in their eyes, but it's sad. It's sad how there's a title associated with it when
Mhm.
I don't know, we're just following our passion and we love what we do.
Yeah. Yeah, and, like, my proudest moment used to be when I graduated vet school and became a vet and was able to say, "I'm Doctor Megan MacPhail," you
Yeah,
know? Like, my little name was on, like, my first job, like, my name, Doctor Megan MacPhail, was right on the door when you walk in, and I'm like, "Oh, so proud," but then my proudest moment became quitting that career, you
yeah,
know, and doing whatever else I feel like wanting to do ever since then, you know, I've done lots of stuff since then,
for
and inspiring people and giving them permission, I think, and, like, my husband Todd, he's a rocket scientist, he has a
yeah,
PhD, and I got him to quit his job, you know, like, he didn't even know that was a possibility to do that, and, so I love yeah, my proudest moments now are other people's success stories and quitting their careers and stuff, like, I it's great.
yeah. And for my listeners that don't know, like, I love their story because they are such a power couple. Like, you have the emergency veterinarian, and then you have Todd, who's a rocket scientist, and they quit that to follow their dreams, and that is just so incredible, you guys. So I'm very excited that you guys get to, hear about their story and meet them today. So, when it comes to being a coach and I mean, you've obviously built such an successful coaching business, and you're incredible at what you do, and you make such a huge impact in these photographer lives. I have a lot of questions about coaching. So, could we dive into that?
Yeah.
Okay. So, you've coached how many elopement photographers at this point, you would say?
Oh, goodness. I think, like, I've really had my hands in about, like, 200 businesses,
Wow.
but then if you look at how many people have, gone to Elopement Con, which was our virtual summit, and maybe purchased little courses from me here and there or, listened to my classes and workshops and stuff like that, it's in the thousands.
That is
Um,
incredible.
yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you got to see a lot of their growth. Is there anything that you've seen in common, with those that are, like, very successful? Is there anything you see consistently that they have in common, like successful photographers?
Yeah, so, I mean, there's so many ways I could answer this, like, it's not just, like, an easy, like, "Oh, yeah, this is the magic thing all the
Mm,
successful elopement photographers have," but one thing I want to mention is that almost every single photographer that I have helped, hit 6 figures or become successful, whatever their version of success is, and, raise their prices, travel to all the places, like, they almost all have this really crazy backstory of,
mm,
like, things they've had to get through, and work hard through and kind of, like, overcome in order to be successful. Like, it's none of these stories of successful elopement photographers is, like, easy or overnight.
yep,
Almost all of them have something, like, really I don't wanna say horrible, but really sad or like a struggle or they've experienced grief or they had a huge setback that they had to overcome. There's so many inspiring stories in these people that, like, I get to know, but they're not, like, necessarily sharing that. They most people don't know these backstories, unless, they share them on a podcast or something like that, but, like, most people have really overcome something really challenging and hard, and it's really cool to see them overcome it and then and kind of, like, become successful at the other side, and I think that the reason why so many successful photographers kind of have this backstory is because they've done hard things before, kind of like what I mentioned, so they're like, "I can do this, I can get through this." They also have this kind of, like, this purpose and passion, like and I always point at my chest when I start talking about this because there's, like, this pull that, like, you can't not do this. You have to do this. And those are the exact people I love to help because they won't give up when things get hard. They'll go through the discomfort, they'll learn the new skills, they'll put in the reps, and they just kind of don't take no for an answer. Because I think, again, they've done hard things. This is another hard thing that they're going to have to get through, but they're willing to do it.
Yeah, no, I can definitely relate to that. For those that don't know, I actually joined Megan MacPhail's course after maybe a month or 2 after I had my ectopic pregnancy rupture. So I was in a very, just like I just felt like I was at the bottom of the pit at that point, and I was doing decent on social media. I was posting every single day, and after that accident happened, I obviously could not post
Mhm.
anymore. Like, I was in the hospital, um, recovering, coming over this grief that I just lost a baby, and I obviously I wasn't going to post, so then all of a sudden I started losing all these inquiries, and I was at a point where I was like, "Man, I cannot allow this to continue, like, my, business is going to fail," and that's when I came across Megan MacPhail. I came across your course, and I was like, "I there's nothing else I could do, like, what else can I lose at this point?" And
Mhm.
that's when I dove in, and now this is where
Yeah.
I'm here today because of you.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, I mean, that's like you're the perfect example, and there's so many other examples as well, and I think a lot of people are gonna want some of my answers to be like, "They posted on Instagram," or "They did this," and, like, but becoming an entrepreneur, building a business that's kind of also a personal brand, and all the self-discovery that kinda comes along with that, it's very deep.
Sure, yeah,
And there's yeah, yes, there's strategies, yes, there's things that you need to do, but there's this whole mindset aspect to everything, and everybody kind of has their own unique story and personality and things that they're trying to accomplish, so a lot of things are very unique to people, and I don't know, it's just the whole process is very, very deep, and
for
none
sure.
of it is simple or easy, especially when you have to overcome some of the things that are holding you back, like money trauma or just like fear of failure, fear of success, all of these things, perfectionism, ADHD, neurodivergence. Like there's so many things that like we kind of have to like address and overcome so that we can become successful and implement these strategies.
Yeah,
So like a lot of my questions or a lot of my answers and a lot of my advice ends up being a lot deeper than just do this one thing.
yeah. Well, I
You know?
feel like you as an elopement photographer, like, you have to have so much grit and, like, you have to have so much motivation to, like, push yourself because you are what I loved about your approach to coaching is, like, you're not holding our hand. You're like
Mhm.
and you have this, like, no BS attitude about all of it. It's like, "Here's the work, put in the hard work, and you will see, like, good results, but
Mhm.
I'm not gonna baby you." Like,
Yeah,
you have to do this yourself, and you have to do a lot of internal work that you have to overcome yourself, and
yeah.
I love that about you, you know?
Well, and if I babied people, I'd just be creating, like, a codependent relationship, and you'd never be able to, like, leave the
Mm,
nest or fly the coop or whatever, and, like, be an entrepreneur, like, you've taken a lot of stuff yourself, Cheryl, and kind of, like, run with it and, like, done your own thing, and you've grown, and, yeah, if I did baby you and hold your hand through everything, you wouldn't be able to, like, make these decisions and do these things on your own. You would just be, like, looking at me like, "Is this okay?"
yeah, and And for some reason, I think when I joined the course initially, I thought it was like a hand-holding course in some way, but I quickly realized it was not.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta put in the work.
Mhm. I know, and I think a lot of people kind of think it's gonna be easy, and I do try to make it as easy as possible, right? To, like,
Yeah,
build
you
your
do.
business,
Oh my gosh.
like yeah, I try. But, I mean, yeah, there's hard work to be done, there are, lessons to be learned that you can only learn on your own, really, and, like, we can help you through it, but, like, there's so much of it that, like, yeah, like, to be an entrepreneur, yeah, you have to kinda, like you gotta put on your big girl pants, and, like, we can't drag you through it because then if you don't have us, you're not going to make it. And my whole goal with, when I coach people is like, I want you to become entrepreneurs that truly understand this stuff. You're not just following directions or you're not just doing what I tell you. You're actually like thinking about this stuff, learning the why behind it and how to how to apply it to your own strengths and weaknesses.
Yes. And let me clarify two things to everyone that is listening. Megan's course is incredibly organized, easy to follow, and she teaches you everything. Like you really just have to like take it upon yourself to put in the hard work. One.
Mhm.
And two, she was explaining the why, like understanding the why behind how things work. I had a friend that I was trying to tell her, like, you need to take Megan MacPhail's course. Like, it'll teach you all of these things, how your website should look, how SEO works, and how social media works. And she's like, "Well, why do I have to take her course and spend all this money when I could just copy what you're doing? I can just copy your website." Like, and she's a friend, so I was just like, "Yeah, I guess you could copy what I'm doing and copy my website, but you're not gonna understand why it's working for me or, like,
Mhm.
the reasons why I'm doing certain things. You're not gonna understand the strategy."
Yeah.
And when you start copying people, what's happening is, like, 1, you don't have any trust or belief in yourself, and you're kind of hamstringing yourself. Like,
Mhm.
you're relying on other people for your success,
Yeah.
and I think that's a very dangerous place to be in as a entrepreneur.
Mhm. And I feel like, oh, this is such a good topic to cover because,
Oh.
yeah, like because, yeah, there's so much that you understand and things that are going on behind the scenes and reasons why you're doing this and that. And, yeah, if somebody just kind of sees, like, what you're doing on the outside and is like, "Oh, she's successful, I'll do that." That's not becoming the best version of yourself. That's not understanding the strategy and the things going on behind the scenes. You're not gonna know how to troubleshoot or fix things because you don't know why you're doing anything. You're not like going through the lessons that you have to go through to be successful. You're avoiding that, right? You're avoiding discomfort. You're avoiding, becoming who you should become. Like there's just like again, it's so deep. And I think I see a lot of people come into the mastermind who have like think they've been doing all the right things because they're not copying, but they're emulating some of their favorite, photographers, and, like, they don't understand why it's not working, and the why behind everything is so important, like, being able to fix things, improve things, know why you're doing things, but also, like, being able to change with the times.
Mhm,
'Cause
mhm.
when you truly understand marketing and the reason behind you're doing things, like, things might change, every year, things are different in social media and Google and AI and all that kinda stuff. So being able to pivot with that is really important, and you'll be kind of on the forefront of that, whereas everyone else, if you're copying or emulating somebody, you're way behind by the time you're trying to do what they're already doing.
For sure, and I think what's so incredible about having a business coach and just being educated in general is that you stop comparing yourself. That's a big thing I noticed about me is that, like, I stopped comparing myself to other photographers and this jealousy that you almost have, like, "Why are they
Mhm.
successful and I'm not?" Like, all of that went out the window
Yeah.
because now I'm just like, I understand strategies, I'm focusing on myself, I'm staying in my own swim lane, and
Mhm.
I literally don't care about, like, comparing
Mhm.
myself to other photographers, and it's such this enlightening, beautiful thing. I love it
Yeah.
so much. It's like, I can be successful and so can they, and, like, we're doing our own thing, and I
There's
don't
room
know.
for everyone,
Yeah, there's room for
and
everyone. It's
mhm.
amazing.
Yeah, and when you stop comparing people, that's when you can actually really become yourself in this space, and that's so important these days to kind of know who you are and know how to communicate that to potential couples because, that's really what like, you just being you is what is going to set you apart in a quote, unquote, "crowded market," which I don't even think that's a whole 'nother
Yeah, that's a whole other topic.
I don't believe in market saturation or whatever. But you can't if you're just being yourself, like, there's no competition at that point, right? Like, people are either going to, like, fall in love with you and be like, "You're the one for me, I'll pay you whatever and fly you anywhere," or they're gonna be like, "Meh, she's not really my thing." And both of those situations are great because you want to book the couples who are in love with you and think you're awesome, and you definitely don't wanna book couples who don't think you're awesome, and if you're, like, hiding yourself,
Yeah.
kinda hiding behind your photography, because one of the things you do so well, Cheryl, is, like, you're just you all the time, and you can't help but be yourself, and, you don't wanna book anybody who doesn't think you're awesome, right?
Yeah, like, I feel like I'm at a point where it's like, if they don't wanna book me, I'm like, "Okay," like, we
Mhm.
just don't click and we don't align, and that's okay, like, another couple will find me, and
Yeah,
I would rather work with a couple that like, truly loves my work and truly loves me instead of just picking me just 'cause
yeah,
no.
yeah. That's not fun, that's how you get into all kinds of trouble, and then when you're booking, ideal couples who feel like friends and they think your personality is great and your work is great, like, they wanna hang out with you for multiple days wherever, like, that's not even work at that point. Like, that's just I don't know, like, I don't feel like I work that much because I work with so many people who are great, whether it's elopements or coaching students, like, I don't know, everyone is just so amazing. My little circle of the internet is so supportive and kind and full of the best people, and it just doesn't feel like work when that's happening, and I think you do a great job of probably pulling in those right people too.
Hey friends, we're going to pause the episode really quick. If you're an elopement photographer looking to elevate your client experience, your creativity, or the way you show up online, I created something just for you. Inside the show notes, you'll find a link to Epic, the Elopement Photographer Inspiration Compass, where you can choose which direction you want to grow in. Whether that's community, courses, creativity, or your couples, you get to follow the path that inspires you. From planning guide templates to courses on TikTok, drone photography, and more, it is all designed to help you create intentional, experience-first elopements. And because you're a listener of the Epic podcast, you can use code EPIC15 for $15 off. All right, let's get back into the episode. Thank you. Yeah, and I also want to say, like, it is so important to be yourself on social media. I do not want anyone to feel like they have to be outgoing or have to be like me. Like, you will attract the couples who like your personalities. There are probably couples that don't wanna, like, choose me because I am too loud or, like, happy and
Mhm.
bubbly and outgoing. They would probably pick someone else that's, like, more quiet and reserved and probably has a more, like, calm presence, and
Mhm.
that's okay. Like, everyone is so different. Just be yourself on social media, and you will find the right people that will gravitate toward you.
Absolutely. Yeah, and if you don't know how to be yourself on social media, because another thing I've learned is that people, especially those in corporate who are
Mm,
now, like, going from a job or currently have a job or they wanna quit their job and be a photographer, a lot of times they don't know who they really are in this space, and that's okay, if you're kind of, like, discovering yourself. Like, I don't think I
mm,
really knew who I was when I first quit veterinary medicine. I was like, a robot.
yeah,
Like I had to be professional and all and like, respectable and all that kind of stuff. And then now, like, it's taken me a while to just know how to be myself and be okay with that and know how to explain who I am. Like it's not a performance. Like it's just literally you being you. It doesn't have to be anything different than that. And it's okay if there's a learning curve to that.
for sure. Oh my gosh, I feel like we just covered 100,000 topics. Let's get back on the track.
Circle back.
So, I hope everyone is taking notes that's listening.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's talk about your course again.
Yeah.
It's incredible. And you obviously offer the same exact course to everyone, the same tools. It's not
Mhm.
different from student to student.
Yeah.
Why do you think some photographers take off while some say suck?
Yeah. That is a really good question. So, I would say that any and every photographer can have success with the strategies and stuff that I teach.
Yeah.
It's inevitable is what I try to tell people. Like, if you wanna be a six-figure elopement photographer, your success is inevitable. Now, people join the mastermind at different stages, so and with different mindsets and stuff like that. So sometimes things do take longer for certain people than for others. Some of them like come in guns blazing, get
Mhm.
their website done in like 2 months and like they're just like kicking ass. And then for other people, it takes them a longer time. And I think that the biggest differences are, again, this is a question that I could answer a million different ways.
Right.
But it's so good though. I think the biggest difference is, I mean, honestly, so much of it is mindset
Yeah.
because you can't, and even nervous system regulation, because you can't implement these strategies. You can't do these things and take these actions if you're a perfectionist and
Mhm.
you can't you're not okay with putting out B or C grade work, which sometimes well, I always recommend doing. If you are afraid of success, a lot of people are like, what's gonna happen if people start booking me and I'm charging 5 grand and now I have to give them an amazing experience? Like, fear of success scares people,
Yeah.
fear of failure scares people, getting out of their comfort zone, when they could just kind of slide back into their little 9 to 5 job or something. So it can be hard and like what can look like I actually just talked to one of my students earlier about this because she's like, I haven't really done that much in the past 2 months, and she was really feeling bad about it. But
Yeah.
in those 2 months, she also recognized that she was kind of spiraling and having anxiety and started talking to a therapist and like
Mhm.
overcame a lot of the things that were holding her back. And
Yeah.
then she was ready to like start doing work again. So I was like, okay, maybe you didn't like do any homework in 2 months, but like you went from like depressed and spiraling to like an entrepreneur and like got a therapist and like overcame all of these things that were holding you back. Like that is hella progress,
Sure.
So I think like kind of reframing it and being like, "Oh, I'm stuck, I'm behind, I'm struggling, I'm not getting work done," and then realizing, like, there's actually lessons being learned, there is progress, unless you're just giving up altogether, which some people have done, it really makes me sad, but they
Yeah.
have reasons, but I think kind of reframing it and realizing that even if there isn't things that look productive, like getting a
Mhm.
booking, there are important lessons, an important journey, like, important discoveries happening, and, like, when you actually break down what is taking somebody longer to accomplish things than another person, you realize there's actually a lot going on that is really awesome, actually, to, like, witness and see.
That definitely makes a lot of sense. Is there something specifically where elopement photographers are specifically worrying about something way too much that you wish that they would just focus that energy on something else?
Well, yeah, I mean, social media.
Yeah, that's a fact, actually. That's so funny.
Yeah, I mean, well, and I shouldn't just say, like, "Screw social media," because obviously I'm promoting a course about
Yeah.
social media right
Mhm.
now, but doing it wrong. They're doing so many people are doing it all wrong, and
Yeah.
it hurts my heart to see because they are, thinking that they have to post a certain amount of time, a week or dance on reels or use trending audio, or
Yeah.
they're fixated on follower counts,
Yeah.
which
It
follower
doesn't
counts
mean anything.
matter.
And I can say it doesn't matter.
Yeah, your follower counts don't matter. There's people with 300 Instagram followers out there booking like $14,000
Yeah.
elopements, making multiple 6 figures because follower counts don't matter. Like, so many people are just doing it all wrong, and I know that was a big thing when you joined, Cheryl,
Mhm.
because you were working your ass off, and that's the thing, like, that's the other thing about social media. You can work your ass off on there and get inquiries
Yeah,
and
for
bookings,
sure.
right? But the time and energy is not worth it.
Mhm.
The mental exhaustion isn't worth it, and also it, like, your time and energy, it doesn't, like, line up to how many inquiries and bookings you actually get.
Yeah.
So, I think, most people are doing social media totally wrong and are fixated on, like, once I hit a certain follower count, I can raise my prices and I'll get bookings and stuff like that, and that's just not how any of it works. Um and I also think people will just put in, like, destination elopement photographer in their bio and then wonder why people aren't, like, knocking down doors to fly them all over places, and, like, that's a whole other story on and strategy to accomplish that.
Like, if you're gonna take anything from this podcast episode, you need to be location specific if you want to be
Mhm.
successful.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I made that huge mistake starting off putting destination elopement photographer,
Mhm.
and like that got me nowhere. It got
Yeah.
and I'm glad that you mentioned social media because it is really sad seeing that people feel the need that they have to post every single day or
Mhm.
do something very specific on social media when in actuality, like, you technically don't have to post every day as long as you're giving valuable content, like, that is all anyone ever, like, cares about.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Quality over quantity for sure,
yeah,
and especially when it comes to, like, the, elopements that are 5K, 8K, 10K, 15K, like these high I don't even know what to call them, but I've been calling them high ticket elopements lately because I don't
yeah,
know what else
mhm.
to say.
Yeah,
But, but yeah, like, they don't care about trending audio or follower counts or anything really, like, except for how you can give them an amazing elopement day, like
yeah,
the locations that you serve, your knowledge, your personality, and yes, your photography as well, but, like, there's so much more that goes into what a couple that wants to invest in photography for their elopement, like, needs to see,
for sure.
and what most people are posting every day is not that, and
Mhm.
it's stuff that will get, like, other photographers' attention and comments and stuff like that, but, like, you can have something that you posted years ago that a client will find and be like, "Oh, that's so cool," you know? Like, I booked a Santa Fe elopement from a post I made in 2020 because
Yeah.
it was searchable.
Yeah,
So and then if people can find you while they're researching and then you have quality content that they can kinda binge and get to know you more and your process and how you approach elopements and how you're gonna help them, that's what's gonna get you bookings, not all this other influencer stuff that people complain about all the time.
for sure, and I think what frustrates me, when it comes to social media is when they're investing in social media managers, I think that there's, like, a time and place to have a social media manager, especially if
Mhm,
your DMs become overwhelming, but to have them post for you every day, I think it doesn't work, and when I ask my
mhm.
friends, like, "Are you getting more inquiries from your social media manager posting for you every day?" They say, "No."
Yeah.
So, like, why don't you just use that towards ads?
Yes.
Hiring I don't know, an SEO manager, if anything,
Mhm.
like a blog post
Yeah.
would be far more effective over
Mhm.
time, of course.
Yeah.
Not maybe not immediate, but I don't know. I feel like that's another rabbit hole that we can go down.
Oh my gosh, I could talk about everything you've asked,
Everything.
I could talk about for, like, hours, days, weeks, you know?
This is what happens
But
when you have 2 people with ADHD.
yeah.
We're like we are
"Oh, here's
everywhere.
that."
It's okay. Okay,
Yeah.
quick pause, friends. If you are an adventure or destination elopement photographer, please do not overlook your contracts. I personally use the legal page because Paige is an attorney who understands photographers like us. I personally have both her adventure elopement contract and the destination wedding contract, and switching truly made me realize there were so many situations unique to our industry as elopement photographers that my old general wedding contracts simply did not cover. It is one of the best investments that I've made to protect myself, my business, and my couples. If you're ready to make the switch and upgrade your contracts, go ahead and use my code Cheryl10 for a special discount. Okay, let's get back to the show. Back on track.
Yeah.
But did you have anything else about social media that before
Oh,
we
yeah.
go back?
Well, I think that hiring a social media manager is, like what you said, a total waste of money because it kind of ignores the part about social media where it should be like kind of like a backstage pass to who you are,
Yeah,
and if you have somebody else posting for you, that's not really how that works, right? So and if you're yeah, I mean, I did a whole study on this essentially,
mhm.
where I paid $1,500 a month
I
for a
looked at
social
before.
media manager
Mhm.
for 9 months, and they posted all the right stuff, right? But, like, that's all I really focused on, and then I did, I also paid, I think, $1,500 for a Pinterest manager for those
Mhm.
9 months, and I got 0 bookings from Instagram. I
Yeah.
did get bookings from Google and stuff like that, but I
Mhm.
didn't get any specifically from Instagram, and my Pinterest was, like, doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I was at the end of all and then but my students who were paying, God, like $400, $500 a month for Google Ads had booked over 6 figures worth of stuff,
Yeah.
while I spent, what was it? Tens of thousands of dollars
For sure.
on stuff and got a big fat 0.
Yeah.
So I was like, "Okay, let's not outsource Pinterest
Mhm.
because that was a big 0. Let's figure that out on our own. Let's not outsource social media because that didn't bring anything, but let's spend money on ads because that made people a lot of money and it
Yeah.
was much cheaper." So that was a pretty cool experiment, and it has since continued to be, yeah, like, blog posts, I you could outsource blog posts. Nobody likes doing
Yeah.
blogs, and SEO is important, but, like, social media and Pinterest, I do not recommend outsourcing those, and, paying for ads will work.
I love ads.
Yeah.
For people that wanna know how I get most of my bookings, it's definitely through ads. I will say, please do not set up your ads if you don't have your branding, your
Mhm,
website, and yourself dialed in. Like,
mhm.
if you don't have those things dialed in, you're basically flushing your money down the drain, and it's
Yeah,
not gonna convert for you. Megan's
ads are
course
the
can
best.
teach you how to convert
Yeah.
with ads.
Well, that's another thing. Well, I mean, Google Ads are, like, how I've helped everybody get 6 figures since, like, 2021,
Yeah.
and they're absolutely amazing, and I do tell people, like, we have a whole process you have to go through before you start your ads in the mastermind, but
Mhm.
for people who are starting ads without going through that process, I just tell them there's, like, one of 2 things are gonna happen. Either it's gonna work, and you're gonna be like, "Why didn't I start this sooner? Google Ads are amazing."
Yeah.
Or it's going to identify all the cracks in your business.
Yes.
And it's not because ads don't work, so, like, acknowledge that. Like, be able to, like, look at your ads and your business and be like, "Okay, like, why isn't this stuff working out?" And then that's also what we help people with too is, like, okay, you've been running ads and, like, you are flushing money down the toilet, but let's look at the data and see, okay, like, your website isn't converting. Why is that? Or the keywords you picked are crazy. Like,
Yeah.
what are you doing, Like we can fix this, you know? So, so yeah, that's, like, one of 2 things is gonna happen, and a lot of the people who are like, "Oh, ads don't work," didn't take those extra steps to, like, fix the cracks in their business that the ads unveiled, you know?
For sure, and that, like, actually brings me to my next question because I think one of the hardest things in business is trying to recognize, like, when you are putting just enough hard work in and you just kinda need to be patient with it and let it work itself out, or it's time to pivot. Like, when would you say, like when would you know it's time to pivot versus giving it enough time? And I think I know the answer to that 'cause
Yeah. So, I mean, this is hard. It's kind of hard for me to answer because, like, if you're following my strategies,
Mhm.
then it's really easy for me to be like, here's the data, here are the numbers, this is what you can expect. This is what I've seen other people go through. This is normal, and kind of like walk you through those times where, you're like, like, I've done so much hard work and it's not working,
Yeah,
and you really do just need more time and patience and, like, trust the process.
for sure.
I feel like there's a lot of photographers who do that with the wrong stuff,
Mhm.
and it's hard when you don't have a coach to kinda, like, swoop in and be like, "Stop that. Do
Yeah,
this." Like, it's hard, and there's so much bad advice out there. There's so many things that photographers are doing that is literally just, spinning wheels over and over. Sometimes for years they'll do it.
yeah.
How are you gonna think that I was gonna answer that?
The thing I was going to say is, like, data. Like, you
Yes.
always harp that, to the students in the mastermind is like, "Well, what does the data say?" Like,
Mhm,
if you are doing something consistently for months and the data is not changing, like, something is wrong in
mhm.
within your system. Like,
Yeah.
you always taught us to think very logically about things and not emotionally. Because I and it's so funny because all of us are so emotional, and you
Oh,
can't
yeah.
help but be emotional because you're putting so much time and money and effort into this. But yeah, you always taught us to think logically, look at the data, And if you start seeing the data slowly like bump up, like I feel like that's the time to maintain consistency.
Mhm.
But if it's kind of staying the same for maybe 2 to 3 months in a row, that's where there's an issue.
Yeah,
So it's big data,
totally. Yeah,
a
I
lot
mean,
of data.
well, and I had to figure out a way to coach people while not, like, feeding into their emotions so much. Because like, when
Yeah,
I first started coaching, people would come to me and be like, "Oh my god, I'm not getting any inquiries or bookings, and the world is the sky is falling," or something like that, and everything sucks, and then I would join right in and be like, "Oh my god, what do we do?" Like
yeah,
and that didn't help anybody, that didn't help me, that didn't let me sleep at night, because I was feeding into all of everyone else's fears and emotions and stuff. So then I had to figure out a way, like, how do we look at this logically and not just through this emotional lens where everything feels like it's awful, and, like, yeah, looking at your numbers and, like, how many inquiries did you get? How many website visitors? How many
mhm,
people are booking calls? Like, what is your average price? And, like, being able to take the emotion out of it and be like, "Actually, you, like, booked 3 things 2 weeks ago," Like,
yeah,
"You're actually doing really well, like, your numbers look great, like, why are you freaking out now just because there's a little bit of crickets for a couple weeks?" Like, there's gonna be a feast and famine cycle. So, I had to do that for my own emotional well-being, but then, basically making that a cornerstone of what I teach people, has been so helpful for everybody, because then you just track these numbers for months and years, and whatever you feel about your business, you can actually look at your spreadsheets and be like, "Oh, yeah, this looks messed up, I need to fix this," or "This looks great," and, I can just keep running with it and kinda trust that everything's gonna work out, and it really made a huge difference for everybody, and I don't know anybody else teaching that.
yeah,
I didn't learn it, besides, like, being, like, a data nerd from being, a doctor and stuff. Like, every when I had to treat patients, like, the first thing we did is look at blood work numbers and blood pressure and temperature, pulse, respiration. If I just listened to the owner tell me what crazy thing she thought was going on, I would never be able to come to a diagnosis. So yeah, I think that more people need to learn this kind of stuff, but I just had to kind of develop it and kind of fix it over time. And I think it's one of the best parts of that what I teach people in my mastermind for sure.
for sure. And I agree. I think it's totally relatable. And I think it helps the fact that like we were both biology majors, one.
Mhm.
We also both went to University of Illinois, but Todd is also a rocket scientist. I'm going to
Mhm.
say that many times.
Yeah,
But
it's fun.
it's just like our mindset is to understand like data is so important. And if you're not focusing on that, like you won't be able to see what is working for you and what's not working for you.
Mhm.
And I remember one day Todd just gave me some tough love and a reality check. And he was just like, what did he say? He said something along the lines of like, what you are experiencing, someone else has experienced before. You are not special. Like, there is a logical way to overcome this. You need to stop
Mhm.
being emotional about it and
Mhm.
look at the data. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, "Okay, you're right. You're right." And it's so funny. Every time that I would hop on our group coaching calls and I would be so emotional about something, it was always like, "Did you look at the data
Mhm.
logically about this?" And I
Mhm.
think by the time I left the mastermind, I really have developed a new mindset of like thinking logically about a lot of things. And
Mhm.
it's so wonderful because I'm just like, okay, something's wrong with the system. Let's work our way back and kind of figure out
Mhm.
what's wrong.
Yeah, and then it gives you power too, because you can reverse engineer whatever you want, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I love it.
that's really one of the cool things too, like, the house I'm in right now, we is, like, our dream house that we bought a couple years ago, and I was basically able to, like, look at house houses, see how much they cost, figure out how much money I needed to make, and then kind of, like, reverse engineer my coaching business and my elopement business to make sure that I hit those numbers by understanding, like, "Okay, this is how many people I need in the pipeline to make this happen," And I wasn't like I didn't become successful because I have, like, the best photos and I won awards or anything like that. I just
Yeah,
kind of reverse engineered the income that I needed to get this house, through 2 different businesses, and, like, it really is all a numbers game. Yes, there's personality, and it's deep, and it's art, and it's photography, and travel, and all these amazing things, but it's also just a sales funnel.
Yep, it is a sales funnel. That's so funny. Okay. Well, if a photographer came to you and says, like, I feel like I'm doing everything right, like, I don't know what's wrong, what is the first thing that you would look at in their business? Like, the first thing.
The very first thing I always ask people is, "How many website visitors do you have?" Because
Oh, yes, I remember. Getting, like, flashbacks.
Yeah. "Well, how many website visitors do you have,
I don't
Cheryl?" Like
know.
Yeah, because, they'll tell me this whole sob story and,
Yep.
'cause I hear people's sob stories all the time
Yeah.
and, of how hard they're working, how much they want this, all these things, and then I just kind of am like, "Well, how many website visitors do you have?" And it'll be like 25 or 50 or maybe like 125, something like that, but just not enough
Mhm.
to provide a six-figure income or any income
Yeah,
really besides,
yeah.
like, maybe lucky one-offs. So, I'll tell people, like, it's not that your photography sucks, it's not your personality, it's not anything, there's just not enough people know you exist. That's all there is.
Oh my gosh, Megan, the amount of times that, like, your voice saying that has come into my head, like, you would not even imagine. I remember you telling me, like, "Your work is good, but it's just people don't know you exist yet."
Yeah.
And I was like,
Mhm.
"Huh, that's interesting."
Yeah. I know, I think we all think that, you have this service or this product or something and you just put it out there and people will just buy it.
Yeah.
I wish that that was the case, but, but that's not it. Again, it goes back to numbers. There's a certain amount of people that need to know you exist before you can even get one inquiry. Whether that one inquiry will even book a call with you or ghost or something, like, so if not enough people know you exist, you're never gonna get the bookings, and so we often see that people need at least like 500
Mhm,
website visitors a month, 1,000 website visitors a month, numbers that nobody is tracking or even think about because they're focused on other things like, follower counts and stuff like that on social media. And like this is what it means when we're talking about like, okay, you can copy Cheryl's website all you want.
yeah,
you know,
exactly, but it
but
doesn't mean anything.
it doesn't mean anything if nobody knows you exist and you're not following how many website visitors you have and actively making sure that number goes up and up and up.
Yeah,
So, that's some of the behind the scenes stuff that people are doing and if that's not like common knowledge on Instagram where influencers will make you think that, you need to be posting every single morning, but if that doesn't translate to traffic to your website, like you're just going to be on the struggle bus forever.
for sure, and I think it's still important to show up where you can. So,
Mhm.
don't give up on, like, Instagram and TikTok or YouTube, like, all of those platforms are so important,
Yeah.
and Megan is not telling you to drop them. What's awesome is that, like, you can focus your time and energy and money into ads, and now you have time to do Instagram and TikTok for fun. Like, you don't
Mhm.
feel this obligation to have to post
Yeah.
or, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
now it's more fun for me to post. I post when I want to
Mm.
instead of feeling like I have to post every day.
Well, and I think people think I'm crazy when I tell them, like, social media can be fun,
Yeah, it
Like,
can be
social
fun.
media it's my fun place, like,
Yeah, and
like, it's where all my friends hang out, I get to talk to you guys, I get to see what you're up to, and, like, I can tell you only post because you enjoy it, like, and you have something you wanna say or share. You're
yeah.
not doing it out of obligation because you have a whole system running behind the scenes that's gonna get you inquiries and bookings, and your content just helps that convert, but it's not like you're reliant on it. And yeah, you have the extra time and energy to have fun with it when you have like a whole engine running behind the scenes, right?
And honestly, like, I would probably focus on TikTok before Instagram at this
Yeah.
point. I feel like Instagram well, it's not feel, I know that Instagram it you post and it is relevant for a day and then it's like gone. Where TikTok,
Mhm.
it's actually pretty evergreen and it's
Yeah.
awesome. And it'll show up
Mhm.
on Google. So I would
Yeah.
start focusing my attention there if I was anyone.
Yeah. Well, and I think both should be used like search engines, just
Yeah.
the same way we think of Google and blog posts and stuff like that. And, when you kind of think of it like, "Can I show up where people are searching?"
Mhm.
is way more meaningful than like, "Oh, I hope this reel comes across somebody who's doom scrolling or something, and
Exactly.
they are happen to be my ideal client," I guess. Like, I don't know, that's just way too much hope
Yeah,
and luck, and, like, I can't reverse engineer a business that way, relying on hope and luck, and I also don't wanna work too hard, to be honest, like,
yeah. Well, I also
you
feel
know?
like if people feel like their ideal client is on social media, that's great. That's amazing. Just there's smarter ways to do it, like meta ads.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
You don't have to post every day, but you'll still
Yeah.
show up like you are.
Yeah. Mhm. Yeah, there's definitely ways there's really smart ways to, like, spend your money as a photographer to get your time and energy back so
Yeah,
that things just work behind the scenes, and so that you're not always putting all your time and energy into stuff that may or may not pan out, right?
right.
So, I would much rather pay money to be able to work less and make more money
Yeah,
than have to, like, wake up every day worrying about everything.
for sure. Well, let's get back on track again.
Yeah.
Um, okay, so let's say they're doing well in your course and just like following the strategies, they understand it now. What do you think photographers misunderstand most about building a six-figure business?
There's a season of hard work, but it doesn't have to be hard work forever. Like, I feel like there's, like, this, like, you're working hard and you're kinda, like, struggling a little bit to build all this stuff, but then, like, at a certain point, you have to consciously kinda, like, switch gears
Yeah.
and not make it a struggle anymore,
Mhm.
which I think, like, it's a nervous system thing where, like, your nervous system is used to being like, "Ugh," as you're, like, kind of doing the hard work, but then, like, things start working and it kind of works on autopilot and, you're serving your clients well, you're getting good reviews, inquiries and bookings are coming in, you're doing better at sales calls, but then people still are kind of making it into a struggle, and at some point, you have to kinda, like, relax. But, like, I think a big part is, like, it's gonna be hard work for a while, but then it gets to be easy. Like, it gets to be a lot easier and you don't have to work as hard. But you can't really bypass the hard work, even with all the resources and strategies and help that I give people. There's still the things that they have to do that they can't avoid in order to truly be successful.
Yeah, self-regulating your nervous system is such a real thing. Like, I
Mhm,
totally understand, like, the hard work and hustle that has to go into building a six-figure photography business. Like, you have to work hard. Like,
mhm,
there are nights where you're not gonna like, you're gonna stay up late, going to have
mhm.
very little sleep. That's just the reality of it.
Yeah,
But once you hit your mark and you understand everything and you hit your money goal, whatever that is, you need to teach yourself to slow down. And, like,
mhm,
I'm not saying that's an easy thing. I struggle with that still.
mhm.
Like,
Me too.
and and I don't know. I wish there was an easy answer to that, but I would definitely say that's something that is misunderstood about building a six-figure business for sure, is that
Mhm.
you need to you need to just slow down after you
Yeah,
It's interesting. It's like once you surpass the six-figure mark, you're still hungry. I don't know how to explain it.
yeah.
It's
You never get to the destination,
Yeah,
Like, people oftentimes think like, "Oh, once this happens or that happens, like, I'll be good," or, "That will be success for me," or that I'll hit my goal, but yeah, you still want more?
yeah, it's scary. It's like, "What's next?"
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you started a podcast because you had some extra time and energy, right? And,
Yes.
like, when my elopement photography business was just kind of, like, going along and it was kind of easy and I was booking, like, 30 cool elopements a year, and I didn't really have to work that hard. That's when I started business coaching because I'm like, I have all this extra time, you
Yeah,
know? I can help people, I can teach people, and then when that started going well, now I have this whole homestead thing that I'm doing, you know? So
which
I
is
could just
honestly more
relax.
relaxing. I think, well,
It
having
is that
a
is my
homestead is
relaxation,
way,
yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
that's way more relaxing for sure. Okay, well, let's talk about outsourcing because I think that's really important in just like
Mhm,
business growth. How do you know when it's time to outsource something versus continuing to do it yourself?
mhm. This is great because I love outsourcing, and it's why I'm able to hang out with my chickens all day, because I outsource stuff, and there's definitely, like, right and wrong ways to do it as photographers, like, we kinda talked about, I don't really believe in outsourcing your social media.
Mhm.
I think that's something that you should really personalize and bring yourself into and just do when it feels good, but there are definitely things like editing, culling, um, things that maybe don't bring you joy that kinda, like, suck your energy out, right? Like,
Yeah,
what I'm always looking at is, like, what do I like, especially with ADHD, like, what
yep,
actually gets me out of bed and, like, I'm excited to do versus the things that, like, I can't bring myself to do this, and it's been
yep,
months, and I have to, like, bribe myself by, like, going to a brewery and getting pizza and beer, and then I still don't do it, like
yep,
I would outsource those things, but there's a difference between outsourcing it because you hate doing it and then
yep.
outsourcing it because you really don't understand it. That's what
Yeah,
that's what I've been noticing lately. I still want you to understand the things that you outsource
for sure.
because you can outsource it to somebody and they could do a really crappy job and you could have no idea that they're doing a crappy job because you don't understand the point of it and what the true goal is. So if you are going to outsource something because you can't friggin' get yourself to do it and it's important for your business, at least understand what you're trying to accomplish and don't just like if you totally don't understand SEO,
Mhm.
don't hire some SEO person to just like do stuff to your website because SEO is like an ongoing strategy.
Yeah,
Like you still need to understand these things just and, like, if you can't implement them, that's one thing, but, like, still know the purpose behind it before sending it off to somebody else who will get it done better than you can.
sure, and I tell people that, like, you can literally outsource anything in your business
Mhm.
nowadays. Just go on Upwork, go on Fiverr, like, you can hire anyone,
Yeah.
but you truly need to understand how that thing you're outsourcing works because if for some reason they get sick or they can't do it, like, you better know how to do it yourself, like,
Mhm.
or else you're in big trouble.
Yeah. Or be able to recognize that it's not being done right or because
Yeah,
I see people all the time with, like, yeah, bloggers, social media people, websites, all kinds of stuff that they hire other people to do,
yeah,
things they don't really want to learn about, and then they're doing done wrong, and no one knows they're done wrong, and, like, it just kind of it's money out the window, and we've all spent money on our business that has not returned to us. That happens, but, like, if I can save somebody some heartache,
yeah,
I definitely want to.
for sure. Okay, well, I have only 2 final questions for you. Okay, if you were to completely start over your photography business, what would you like, you don't have any audience, no referrals, nothing. Knowing everything you know now, what would you do differently? And what would you do differently in the year of 2026 because it's
Yeah.
so different from when you started. When did you start?
Yeah, so I started in 2016, so it was a
Yeah,
whole different world back then,
yeah,
whole different world, not better or worse or anything, just different.
yeah.
So yeah, in 2026, I would if I was starting all over again, and I've thought about this before, I would pick
Mm,
one location, and I'm gonna say Colorado because so many people elope in Colorado, and I live right near the border of Colorado, and I'm gonna go up there with some of my friends, and I'm gonna do 3 styled shoots in different places that I wanna shoot.
mhm,
3 styled shoots. Those styled shoots are going to include some, like, getting ready photos, some first look, some vows, maybe some hiking, maybe some jeeping because I like that stuff. Maybe a stop at a brewery because I like breweries. And, yeah, so I'm gonna do these 3 styled shoots. with a bunch of different locations and activities for each one, 3 different couples, and we're gonna have fun while we do it. And I'm going to take those and create my website where I'm just a Colorado elopement photographer, and I will pepper those throughout my website. I'm gonna make my pricing page like a sales page to sell and communicate my value. I'm gonna set my prices at what I need to be profitable, which is at least $5,000,
Yeah.
um, and that's gonna freak me out, but
Mhm.
I'm gonna do it.
Yep, yep.
I'm gonna overcome some of my money issues, and, I'm going to then probably post some social media content so that when somebody finds me, they can know who I am, where I photograph. I'm gonna repurpose some of the stuff on my website and my blogs onto my social media. I'm kind of all over the place right now, but I'm gonna write blog posts about Colorado. And then finally, I'm gonna run ads to my website for Colorado elopements. But the major thing that I'm gonna do is I am going to really get good at one location. And I'm not gonna be afraid to show my face and voice on social media. I'm not gonna hide behind my photos because even though I'm running ads, people are going to they're gonna, like, check on me on social media, like, they're gonna wanna get a little behind the scenes look at what I'm like, and I'm not gonna be afraid to share who I am. I'm gonna fake it till I make it,
Yep.
and, I'm gonna, understand that that's an important part of all of this, and then I'm gonna write down all my numbers every month.
Yep.
And then I'll start pinning on Pinterest, and then I'll start working on my SEO so I can show up for all the Colorado keywords. And then once that's working really well, I might start adding in other locations.
Oh my gosh, you just gave everyone your all the answers.
Yeah.
Another quick pause, friends. If you're dealing with shoulder, neck, or back pain from wearing a camera harness during elopement days, you guys, it might be time to make the switch. I injured my shoulder while I was in the Navy, and my camera harness would just aggravate my shoulder pain and leave my shoulders, neck, and upper back aching after every single elopement. But since switching to the spider holster, I no longer deal with that pain. My camera stays securely at my hips instead of swinging around or smacking into the ground when I bend down, which makes hiking and just moving throughout elopement days so much easier. I am also obsessed with their leather sling pouch. You guys, it is incredibly spacious, super convenient, such beautiful quality, and it fits not one, but two of my drones and the controller, so I always have my essentials within reach. If you are ready to make the switch to Spider Holster, go ahead and use my code Cheryl26 for 15% off plus free shipping. Let's get back to the show.
Yep.
That's amazing.
Ta-da!
Ta-da. No, that's so funny though. Yes, you guys, she gave you all the answers, but she goes into depth and you will understand everything that she just said and it'll click. And when it clicks, you're
Mhm.
like, "Oh my God, this is amazing." One thing really stood out to me about the money mindset and the person who said that they would just like copy everything that I did. You guys, if you are still looking at other photographers' websites and seeing what they charge and just copying what they charge because you think that you need to be at the same pricing as them, you are wrong. Like,
Yeah.
please stop doing that. You don't know why they are charging that amount. And there is so much logically that goes into like creating your price count with
Mhm.
include like your travel there, everything you need and
Mhm.
how you live your life. Like, please.
Supply and demand,
Yes,
you
exactly.
know?
So, like, please do not just like copy someone else's pricing because you
Mhm.
don't know why they're choosing that price.
Yeah. Yeah, do a cost of doing business calculation and know what you should be charging, and it's probably a
That was
lot
such
higher
a
than you
huge
think.
reality check for me because I used to charge elopements at, I think, $1,000 to $3,000,
Mhm.
and when I did the cost of doing business, spreadsheet that you provided for us, I was like,
Mhm.
"I am losing money." Like, I am
Mhm.
not making
Yeah.
any money, and it was just such a huge reality check for me, and it was an understanding why you want us to be charging above 5 grand at
Yeah.
least, and it made
Yeah, that's not like a random number I'd
no,
throw
it's
out.
not.
It's literally like well, and it's starting to get closer to like 6 grand now where
Yes.
When we do all these cost of doing business worksheets, almost everybody, to be profitable, needs to be making an average of 5 to 6K on each elopement, and that to people, that's crazy at first. But how much is your average now, Cheryl?
So my starting is 5,900 and the range ends at 14,000.
It's amazing.
Thank you. So, yeah, I don't know. And you taught us to be confident and it's so funny. Like I just up my prices whenever like I feel like it makes
Mhm.
sense and there's no
Yeah,
fear behind it. It's like
yeah,
it either works or it doesn't. And if it doesn't work, then just bump it back down.
yeah, but it
Like
always ends up working, right? Like
yeah, for the most part, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm so grateful because I would not be in the position I am if it wasn't for you. So thank you so much.
Oh, you're so
Um,
welcome.
is there anything upcoming in your business or life that you want to share that you're excited for?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we leave for Iceland and Switzerland. Me and Todd, we're hosting a workshop in Iceland and Switzerland. We
Nice.
just got done with our Alaska workshop, which was the best. Like, I haven't had that much fun with a bunch of weirdos in such a long time. Like, that was like the theme of the week was that we listen and we don't judge. And
It looks amazing. It looks amazing.
yeah, we had so much fun, got the best photos. Yeah, pretty much our workshops are coming up. I just launched my, little mini course, called F the Algorithm
Mhm.
that is great for elopement photographers because it teaches you buyer psychology and what these couples that want to elope and actually spend money on their elopement and on their photographer, like, what they need to see on social media in order to book you and trust you. So that's a great little course. It's just $9 and people have been loving it, which I always want all the feedback. And I think those are the big things. And then other than that, we're just kind of coasting with the elopement photographer mastermind. I'm up to 68 chickens these days.
Oh my goodness. Your farm is growing so much. That's amazing.
Yeah, we have 3 geese now. We have tons of flowers and vegetables. It's so fun.
And cats
Um,
and dogs, do you still have a bunch of those?
yeah, we have 4 cats and 4 dogs.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah. And it's great. I mean, we've just been, we're making our little dream life over here
I
and
know. I was just about to say that. Like, I think it's so beautiful that you've helped so many elopement photographers like make their dream come true. But it's also been so wonderful seeing your dreams come true in real time. Like you
Aw.
buying that house in Taos and then like
Yeah,
you building like this farmstead of yours. It's been really, it's I don't know, it's really incredible. Like seeing it's
yeah,
it's wonderful as like elopement photographers and just the elopement community, like being able to be happy for one another.
yeah. Mhm.
I think
Oh,
that's
yeah, I
like
mean,
a huge thing that you teach in the community that you've built is like you will celebrate others and you will be happy for them because there's enough room for all of us.
yeah, and that's so true, and it's so great when you get to be in a community of people who really are cheering each other on and can see other people's success as, like, "I can do that," instead of like, "Oh, must be nice," or something like that, like, it's really great to see everybody's, ideas about that kinda shift as they start becoming more successful in their business, like and I will say elopement photography, I think, is, like, the best job in the world, but then being able to, like, help all you guys
Yeah.
quit your jobs, have your babies, buy your houses, travel, like, I've been kinda teary-eyed this whole time because 'cause I'm just, like, thinking about like, as I'm answering my questions, I'm thinking about all these individuals that I've helped and seen them grow and become successful, and you're obviously one of them, like, I'm, like, such a proud mama bear, mama hen or whatever, like I'm just so happy for all of you guys, and it's, like, it's amazing to do what I do and be able to see you guys kind of, like, bloom. I don't know. I'm using all the analogies, but it's just really sweet.
For sure. And I mean, I still like with a lot of the girls, like we still keep in touch, like and talk, weekly to monthly. And
Mhm,
it's just such a beautiful thing. And if one of us needs help or has a question, like we are happy to answer it. And we're just like helping
mhm.
each other grow still. It's like
Yep,
such an amazing thing. There's no gatekeeping. And I also think there's like a healthy understanding of like we're not gonna give you the direct answer, like you're gonna have to work for it yourself. Like I think
Mhm.
there's just like a healthy boundary and relationship
Yeah.
with all of us as elopement photographers, and it's so beautiful.
Yeah. I think it's a really great oh, there's a cat.
The tail.
It's like it can like, photography can be a very petty industry, and
Oh yeah.
it can be a very amazing, uplifting industry as well.
Yeah, and
Um,
when you have the right group, I think.
yeah.
'Cause I still
Mhm.
think that there are people that exist out there that are very, competitive and mean, but you don't
Yeah.
have to be, and there's
No.
definitely community out there for you. And,
Mhm.
there's one of my friends that, joined our, like, monthly group call that we have together, and
Mhm.
she wasn't in the mastermind, but she was just in such awe of, like, watching our conversation as, like,
Mhm.
previous mastermind people, like, talking with each other, because she's just like, "You guys are all so motivated individuals and
Mhm.
successful," and she was just so grateful to be, like, part of like,
Aw.
the call because she just
Yeah.
found it so interesting.
Well, and
But I
just
think it
think
is really
how
important to
yeah,
surround yourself with successful people.
absolutely, because you could either be surrounded by Facebook groups that are
No.
horrible and, like, people in your real life who are like, "You're crazy. You wanna be a
Yeah.
photographer?" And other people who are complaining about the economy and stuff, or you could be surrounded by, yeah, these people who are actively hitting and pursuing bigger and bigger dreams and, like, just helping each other accomplish all of those things. Like, yeah, when you're in a room with people who are charging 10K, 14K, traveling, doing all this fun stuff, and like it's much different vibes and much different conversations.
And it's like, it's not a big deal either to, like, share
Mm,
pricing because it's all the same. I
so
love
fun.
that. Okay, well, I have rapid fire questions to end
Okay.
this call. Are you ready? They're really fun, I promise.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
if you had to choose one thing, for the rest of your life, would it be photography retreats or coaching?
Coaching.
Coaching?
Yeah,
Beautiful.
I like the deep stuff.
Yeah, no, I believe it. It's your calling for sure. Okay,
Yeah.
what's your favorite place you've ever photographed an elopement?
Oh man, I'm gonna say Iceland. I just really love Iceland.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It's just so beautiful and yeah, it's hard to beat.
Yes, it's like otherworldly, it's beautiful.
Mhm. Yeah.
Perfect. What is your favorite lens that you would choose one forever?
Oh, I almost exclusively shoot on my 35 millimeter prime Canon.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so but I'm starting to think about getting, like, the 28 to 70.
You
Uh,
should.
yeah.
Be a 35 prime girly too, and then
I just
I
love that lens.
you know, and then I switched to the 28 to 70, I'm like, "Oh, this is nice."
Yeah,
It's
you
just
don't
more
have to, like,
diverse.
run around to get
Yes,
all the shots. You can just be like, "Meow,
exactly.
meow."
No, exactly. Perfect. What's one piece of advice you would give the elopement community?
Don't give up. Everything's figure outable.
Perfect. I
Yeah.
love that. That is so
Mhm.
true. Okay, and last question, where can people find you? Share your social media and website.
Absolutely. You can find me on Instagram at Megan MacPhail. That's MeganMacPhail. My website is meganmacphail.com. My TikTok is Megan_MacPhail, I believe. I also have my own podcast where you can find me called Stoked. And we haven't recorded a bunch of episodes lately, but we have like 150 episodes. It's me and
And
Todd,
it's
my
so informative, you guys,
yeah.
please listen in. Yeah.
Got lots of good elopement photography advice and general entrepreneurial advice.
Mhm.
I think that's it. Yeah, if you
Okay.
wanna look at my chickens, you can find me on Instagram at Folk and Feather NM.
I have to follow that. That is
Yeah.
so funny. Okay, perfect.
Yep. So
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast and sharing such amazing knowledge with everyone. I
mhm.
think everyone has taken a lot from this episode, and I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, hopefully they can follow it with how much we're bouncing around,
I think
but
they
I
can. I think most elopement photographers also have ADHD because
yeah.
and that's why we're
Mhm.
all so successful. It's a
Yeah.
superpower.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, thanks so much. It's so good to catch up with you. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you so much. Well, it's nice talking to you. Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning into the Epic Podcast. If you love today's episode, don't forget to follow the show, leave a review, and share it with a friend who could use a little inspiration. You can connect with me on Instagram and TikTok at Cheryl Ann Photo, or at Epic Photo Podcast for more stories, tips, and behind the scenes from life as an elopement photographer. Until next time, stay epic.